What would you say is the most important thing that a coach should be thinking about these days? What advice would you have for them?
I was just asked this question upstairs, but it's a good question because as a young coach, if you have aspirations, how are you going to get to where you really want to go? And I think when we come to these clinics, we do a lot of here's how we forecheck, here's how we back check. But a lot of the questions that you people out there have is how do you climb the ladder? Who do you meet? Who do you talk to? Do I send a resume and that type of stuff? And there's ways of meeting people. There's ways of keeping contacts. There's ways of sharing information. And that, to me, is a lot better than sending your resume in and doing that type of stuff. So you're doing a really good job of being here. Make sure you walk around and shake Mike's hand and introduce yourself. Shake Billy Peters' hand. The rest of the coaches. Doesn't matter what level you're at. Meet people. I'll remember, I know Mike and Billy will remember 2 or 3 guys that we met here today that we didn't know before. And we'll remember them throughout the year, and we'll talk about you as an individual and remember that guy and he had a great idea. We're here to get ideas as well. But the best advice that I was ever given as a young coach was to make sure that I hit every step. And that came from Doug Risebrough when he hired me to coach the Minnesota Wild's farm team in 2000. He said, it's just like elementary school. You can't go from grade 1 to grade 4 and have success. It eventually catches up with you. And then he told me to make sure I slowed down and completed the grade. Don't rush it. And we're all impatient. We're in a hurry to get to the next level. That's how we live. But it was real good advice. And the last thing he told me, and it was one thing that I'll always remember, he says, I didn't hire you to coach hockey. I hired you to coach people that play hockey. And that was perhaps the best advice that I've received as a coach.
Hirsch, can I follow up on that?
Yeah.
I just 2 things for me is you're here because you want to get better, and you're here because you're pursuing knowledge, and you've told your players to go away in the summer and work on your skill, work on your strength, do this. You have an obligation to do the same to try to get better. But just like Todd said, I'm here today. I'm looking for people. I'm looking for my next coaches all the time. I'm hoping Jim Hiller and DJ Smith and these guys are moving on and being head coaches in the National Hockey League because I think that's part of your job as a head coach to make sure your guys get an opportunity. But the other thing is you're looking for someone to come and bring you ideas. You have to reinvent yourself. Scotty Bowman is the best lifelong learner I've ever met. And you got to keep reinventing yourself because the version of yourself from last year is not good enough for this year. And to me, that's your obligation as coach to get better. So you got to put time into that. And just like Todd said, when you come up and you meet somebody, if you got something that you do and you're willing to share it, if you tweak something in my head, I'm phoning you. I'm finding out. I call it R&D, Rob and Do. I'm trying to steal your ideas. I need to get better. So to me, don't sit back there and be a wallflower. Walk over. You're going to have these small group sessions. Ask. Find out. Get to know somebody. You never know where your next opportunity is coming from. And then I want to follow up on the next thing is be ready before you get there. Be over-prepared. Just like players, if you want a player to score in the National Hockey League, he better have scored in the level before or he's not going to score. If you want to win at the National Hockey League level, you better be prepared when you arrive or you're leaving before you're ready. I promise you that. Get over-prepared.
Don't stop, Bill? Okay. I guess to elaborate on that question a little bit, when you look at younger coaches, what are some of the bad habits that you see in younger coaches that you'd like to, give them some comments on, give them some feedback? What are some of the things you guys have seen that you run into?
Well, I don't think there's much in the way of bad habits amongst the young coaches. I think the game is well coached, and I think the coaches that are trying to make a career out of it right now really do a good job, and they're very professional in their approach. And then the people that are coaching on the amateur side that are doing it for the love of the game are, again, doing it for the right reasons, and they're giving back to the game. So I just see young players coming in, and they're not finished products, obviously, at the National Hockey League level as much as we'd like at times, but I just see young guys coming in very prepared to play, very well coached with excellent questions to us as coaches, so I don't see any issues with the coaching right now.